My name is Joy. If you don't know, hey Chauncey. Um, I'm getting the vibes right with a little Palo Santo. Turn down service is our weekly time where we come together, we commune in the spirit of beauty. We talk about skincare, beauty, tips, tools, life. And like I said, I'm getting dressed to go out with the girls. So I have to do something to this hair. I had a bunch of curls in it yesterday. Brush it out. It's actually really freaking what's the word? Humid outside today, which means for a silk press, honey. I don't know. We may end up with a freaking hat on, but I'm gonna make some shake. Gonna make some shake with this hair. And we're gonna catch up just a little bit. It's been few weeks since my last live, and there's a few things that I wanted to update you with. The last time I was here, I showed you or talked about that I just had a laser facial when I checked in at my job. And that the results will take about 3 weeks to really see the results from that treatment. So I'm wanting to show just how some of the pigmentation has lightened up. Feel free. We also have, it happens. Little purging. That's one part that just is specifically for skin of color gets a little frustrating. Because when you have treatments like that, you will you will purge, which can cause new darker marks after the ones that you literally just got rid of. But so I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I'm gonna use this um oh my gosh, like the round brush styler right now. This one by Amika, and it already has, excuse me, I had on my YouTube. It already has volume in it because I had those curls from yesterday. So right now I'm just trying to smooth it so it looks a little bit more presentable. And what I do like about this styler in particular, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. Because I don't have like long hair and my hair is not as thick as it used to be. So you can kind of make a nice presentable little style um quickly. I've seen some people go in with clips after this and kind of like set each one. I won't be doing that today. But yeah. So anyway, one of the updates I have for you is I was talking about my mom last time and our consistently tumultuous relationship. I didn't have a good interaction with her the last time I saw her at home and was actually really disappointed about that. She said some things to me that were unacceptable and hurtful. And I left earlier than intended. I have not physically spoken to her since, well, I had not since that time, and that was late February. So it's been a few weeks. I just had my first conversation with her a couple days ago. It didn't really go well. It didn't really go well. I am sharing this. Let me just put a little context to it. I'm sharing this because I was honestly very organically See, it's coming together. It's coming together. Um, Very organically sharing that, and got a lot of responses on TikTok from women who were in similar spaces with their mothers. I don't know if it's a baby boomer generation thing, but you know, I want, I'm always about community, and sometimes it helps to hear how other people are handling things. So I was actually really proud about how I dealt with this last interaction, and just kind of really wanted to share um how I was navigating it. So she called, again, we haven't spoken. I personally prefer not to speak to anyone that I can't have a healthy dialogue with. I would prefer not to. Everybody's not like that. Sometimes people prefer to have an unhealthy conversation than to not have a conversation at all. I did let her know, kind of what my boundaries were, that I was more than willing, because she, I would say, kind of prefers me to be an older version of myself, one that would be more argumentative. She could tell that I wasn't, particularly desiring a conversation. And I think that she felt like with some time, I would be desiring the conversation. Mm-mm. But I told her I was more than willing to participate in a difficult conversation, because that's what it was getting ready to be. Um, we kind of just went back and forth, not in a particularly argumentative way, just I stood on my position, and went back over the way I experienced our last interaction. And I don't know if y'all can see, I'm just rolling this roller here. But um she experienced it differently. And I personally have a respect for that. Um Matter of fact, she didn't remember the experience at all, which is normal for her at her age. And um the best way I can say it, where she is in her emotional intelligence. She doesn't tend to have a whole lot of respect for anyone else's experience. She is the type that will wait for you to have her experience. And when you don't, um, she doesn't understand that. So, went back and forth for a little while. I was en route somewhere, so I had a limited amount of time. So, one of the tips I can give you, if you're in this type of scenario, and you know that you're going to be speaking to someone that you are having a difficult dialogue with, that they, you have trouble with, you love them, but it's hard to communicate with them, go ahead and know exactly how much time you want to put on that conversation. Have that already in your mind. Um, and I had let her know I had 45 minutes. I was driving, I was en route somewhere. So that was the amount of time I had to spend on that. Um, that way, people already are kind of prepared and understand. Um, no matter, they only have so long to to trigger you. And yeah, it didn't go any better than it typically does, unfortunately. Um, try very hard not to say mean things, even though my feelings were hurt. Just try to be vocal about how challenging, this experience continues to be for me. Um, and so the deal breaker, I'll just speed it along. The deal breaker towards the end of the conversation was um, that I said, you have not apologized to me. And she basically let me know that she found no need to apologize, that she would not be doing that. And my response um, was that, if we didn't ever speak again, that would be okay with me, which is somewhat true. It's not my preference. But again, I don't choose a dialogue where I am just consistently disrespected or feeling terrible. Like if that is my option, to talk to you and feel terrible, or to not talk to you at all and at least allow whatever impression I have of you to be less damaged, to not cause more damage. I prefer that. That's my personal opinion. I lost my temper towards the end. I am a human being. I can only be pushed so much. Wasn't proud of that. And later on, not even that long, I texted her because I realized that, again, I am human. It is an abuse dynamic. So being triggered is something that happens, you know. But with the tools that I have, I did not get from her per se. Um, I know better. So I text her, I apologize, I took accountability. I let her know that I lost my temper because I was triggered and that the way that I responded was a learned behavior, i.e., I learned it from her. I learned saying nasty things and not communicating my feelings well, responding in a mean, nasty way. I learned that from her. I didn't say it in that way, but it's a learned behavior. I'm still navigating it, I'm still unlearning it, and I apologize. Um, and she responded, kind of brushing it off. But the point is, I was able to go back and let her know that um, this is the way that you apologize. This is the way that you take accountability for your part in the fracture of a relationship. You know, that's how you respond when you love someone. You may not like them all the time, but you take responsibility and you take accountability for your part. My reflection today, and again, why I choose to share this, that's not something I learned from her. That's something I learned on my own. That's something I was even accused at one point that me going to therapy, like it was bad therapy because I was not speaking with her. And but these are things and tools that I learned in therapy. They're tools that I learned on my own. Um, not from family, um, perpetuating things in the family that just are not right. She's deserving of an apology because she's a human being and she shouldn't be spoken to that way. Whether I learned it from her or not is not an excuse. And I choose to behave differently. Um, we haven't spoken again since, but I just took that moment to reflect on my own growth, to not even though I felt somewhat victimized in that situation, I chose not to even make it an excuse for myself to respond to her in that way. Um, it's not about me needing to teach her, but it is about me being accountable for my best self all the time. Because that's what we gonna do. That's what we do over here. that's that's the life I'm living, you know. And anybody who participates in my life at this stage, that's what it is. There's no other option. It's no other option. So just sharing that, whether it helps, I don't know, feel free to let me know if it does at all. Again, especially, it adds another layer as the parents start to get older. We know they won't be here forever, but it also doesn't give anybody the entitlement to treat you like shit when they're still here. We gotta have to play our part in making that the best experience possible. So, um, yeah, I had a few different tests this week. This week was very strange, a little taxing emotionally. I got through it. And again, proud of myself for sometimes I go inward and I have really learned, which I did not again learn from my family, my mother in particular, but nobody's obligated to make me feel better but me, you know? So sometimes you have to dig in and just sit with your own emotions, what you are going through, and not project that stuff all the way out into everybody who loves you and everybody who may not just know everything that's going on. You know, we all have to self regulate some from time to time. It's a beautiful thing to have support, but you should have some tools on how to self regulate too. It's not up to everybody else to do it for you. Um, this is as good as it's gonna get today. This is it, and hopefully it doesn't swell up on me. But yeah, um, I normally stick a little bobby pin right on that side because I just don't feel like messing with it. I have a plan for this hair this summer. I will refuse. I will not be blowing it out like that. I'm going to get braids. I'm going to keep it braided. And then when the weather turns again, I'm going to cut it shorter. Um, my hair is still has just a tiny bit of relaxer on the ends because I wanted to keep my length. But the blowing out every single week is a little strenuous on my hair. So just want to keep it healthy. Want to keep it healthy. Um, There's a couple things I wanted to show you. So I was saying this week I had some interesting interactions. I actually got someone offered me a free head spa experience, and I didn't like it. I did not enjoy it. I've had a head spa experience before. Got it in Atlanta. It was amazing. Left with products that I really enjoyed. This one person asked me to bring my own product because it was free. And even with all that, it wasn't very good. And that's not to put that person on blast. Will not be sharing the name of the place, none of that. Um, but it did, again, was a moment of reflection and learning for me that sometimes I underestimate my own expertise, things that I have learned, over time. Um, she did mention that she was not a licensed cosmetologist. She had been a massage therapist. Um, so just the amount of product that she was putting in my hair, the way she rinsed it, it comes with just doing things over and over and over again. It's just having the eye and the training for it. I'm sure if it was something about massage, she probably would have been a little more versed in that. But um I didn't beat her up about it. I tipped her. I didn't flip out. I'm just grateful I knew what to do when I left. Because someone else who was not a stylist probably would not have known that, and it would have cost their hair a little price, in the future. So didn't care for that. Was definitely another opportunity to kind of like go in my bag of emotional tools and figure out how to, continue to keep my boundaries, how to speak up for myself, not to get nasty. I have a wide vocabulary, and just to communicate. Just because it's free doesn't mean that, again, anybody gets to just do things you don't like. You don't have to just tolerate, what people give you. If it's not your personal standard, you don't have to do that. That's always an option to not. Um, Couple more things, and then I'm gonna hop off. What I have been using while I am still reaping the benefits from my laser facial and wanting to get the best results possible. I also had a little hormonal, I was talking about purging. I also had a little hormonal breakout around the cycle. This happens. I'm used to it, but can we see that? There we go. This is the Pigment Gel Pro by PCA. You would have to get this is a professional line. Um, got this from my job. And so it is specifically for dark marks and pigmentation. So I'm using this at night while I'm still, doing my skincare at home that supplements the treatment that I had. The other thing I wanted to share was for my birthday, one of my friends here, she gave me a beautiful like perfume sampler kit from Commodity. I'm just sharing a couple of my favorite ones that I think there was about 6 of them in there. I am a fragrance girly. Love a fragrance. And these are really, really nice. This one is called Milk. Um, if you could imagine, not sour milk, of course, but just like a very delicate, soft, feminine. It just smells sweet, if that makes any sense. It smells really, really nice and sweet. Yeah. I would have to go back and look at what the notes are. Um, but I do like that one. This one is called Gold. This one is a lot more sexy and sultry. I put on a roll on of like my oud perfume and mix this with it. Really, really, really beautiful. Something that definitely leaves a lot more of a statement. Um, just more sultry, sexy. I wish I knew the notes to tell you guys, but in case. These are two you may want to check out from the brand Commodity. I love like a boutique fragrance, something that's not, you can't just, you're not going to be smelling like everybody else. So love her for that. That was such a beautiful gift. I really appreciated that. One of my newer friends here in New Orleans. And we're moving right along. We are moving right along. Super grateful. This is what I moved here for. You know, sometimes I have to remind myself that, you know, I'm not exactly where I want to be just yet, you know, but a lot of things have changed. Um, and one of those is just having the space, you know, to not be caught in the type of emotional experiences that I was in before. Having space from that enough to know, you know, like that's not what I want, and I am actively creating the life that I want here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's not a lot. Like what I'm asking for, what I'm doing, what I'm creating, it's not a lot. You know, it's just way more authentic to myself. So don't mind this little robe dress. I look a trip, but whatever. Love y'all. I'm gonna go. I gotta get to this place by 2 o'clock. It's 1:11. I got some food in the oven that I need to take out. We're on our program. I hope that you all continue doing the good things for yourself every single week. I don't care if it's just a nice hot shower, you know, with your favorite body wash, whatever that may be. Hold on to your boundaries. Keep doing what you need to do for yourself. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next time. God willing. Peace.